Let me take you back a few years when I was a young man, probably in my early teens, and I bumped into a rabbi, and I believe his name was Funk, as I recall, some 70 years ago. And in his language, he said, man is one of two things. He's either committed or he's confused. Now, I think that was the greatest thing I'd listened to, and I had just solved the problems of the world. And then when I grew up and got out into the world itself, in terms of Marine Corps, in terms of business and stuff like that, I found a couple other possibilities that seemed to be true. And depicted in my picture here is sometimes we're confused about our commitment. But more than likely, we live in a world where we are committed to confusion. And we see that with misdirection in businesses, the products that are offered, there are omissions that we go, oh, it didn't work. And that just drives us to not trust anybody. And that is a serious issue, because if it's true that this 80-20 rule is in play, the real question is not about efficiency, it's about choice. So we have people choosing just to make it through life. And would anybody really accept a narrow portion of what life offers if they could reach out and take a great big bite of the apple and choose to be part of that 20% that does 80% of the work? It gives them purpose in life. And when a person does that and they feel like they can win, and I see so much of that in terms of our health, financial and physical and emotional, that they just don't feel like they can win. They can get ahead of it. And that's what we at Nefesh really want to show, is a way of doing it, and those that are doing it. A reduced life is not imposed, it's adopted. And I think that that's really a major part in our lifestyle. We choose these things. We don't have to make that choice, and it's through neglect more than anything, through poor fuel, poor energy. We just don't understand how our body works. And through unmanaged stress seems to be a huge issue. And the disengagement from purpose. Those are things that if we could bring them into focus to where you could get ahead of this game, it would make life for you very easy. The question is really quite simple, and it's unavoidable. Are we choosing to fully engage? And if we could do that, what difference would it really make? And so in our situation, we have chaos over here and order over here. And with chaos, there's always fatigue, emotional issues, diseases, money issues, spiritual issues. And compare that to a controlled body. Health, energy, emotional, spiritual side, purpose, and finances. We buy different, we treat our body different, and we begin to see that we really have value. And all we want to do is start at the cellular level and see what the cell wants. It simply wants to have nourishment, not processed foods, and it wants to be protected, and it wants to be cleaned. And this is where I come into play. My life has been pretty much like doing things by my own, and I had to come by this thing, and I asked the question, for whom am I present? For whom am I absent? And all at once I engaged my life to be present for those that I needed to be, my children and my grandchildren, and it changed my life totally. A destiny that I didn't choose, but now nor can I avoid it. And I looked around, according to Isaiah, and he said, I looked around and there was no one competent enough to counsel. And since I was looking at my own life and what I had done to it, I suddenly said, well, for me to do this, I have to understand how I function emotionally, spiritually, financially, and physically. I have to put it all together because those make up the arena of health. And it's within that arena where I chose to finally find solution is I'm going to take you there and you will be fascinated.